So where do I start? How many clients are still here in this hall of ours? How many clients, client-side people? Okay, so interestingly, I'm fundamentally a person with a database background, so I must understand databases before we can go ahead. So to move ahead from that question, I think what you see on the screen here is somewhat something that all of us know, that we are the world's second oldest mass media. And I'm, as I said, differing from what Santosh Pari had said in the beginning, that the flag is the oldest media. In my opinion, it's a town crier who would walk from village to village with a drum and announce any events. That, in my opinion, is the oldest transit media. It's the country's largest media. I mean, all of us know, we've spoken about it to our respective clients, that we cover as many people as television, which is fantastic. We are the only medium which is massive in size and very small in size. And that's so phenomenally complex about our medium. And that increases the complexity of our medium. It's the first medium to offer truly pan-national footfalls, and it's the first medium to be absolutely hyperlocal. Again, very, very interesting. But fundamentally, what this implies is that we are a very complex medium. I've been in television, I've been in print, I've been in advertising side. None of those media are as complex as us. And which fundamentally says that we are the only medium till now which we did not have a proper measurement metric. Do we agree? I mean, every client said that, right? So both the clients who are here, they said, you guys don't get us metrics. So we've been working on this for some time, and I think that's what we thought we should address now and move ahead from there. How does this work? Okay, it does. So we thought about it at Laqshya, and we said, hey, this is an interesting opportunity. The time has come to look at strategic, hyperlocal, AI-powered reach planning, and we called it SHARP. All right. So this is a world of acronyms, and we figured out a pretty sharp acronym for ourselves. Now, please react to this as we go along, because it's going to be important in our discussion. But SHARP is really the first measurement system that will combine the Holy Trinity, which is a database of currently about 25,000 geotagged sites. That's the current situation, which is why you see the big red tag there. Well, it's a very important thing for us to say, ye ho gaya, ye nahi hua. The second level is the resident population and transit traffic at each geotagged site. What we are waiting to do is we are actually now tying up telecom data on the measurement platform to be able to give you more precise metrics. That should be available in the second quarter of 2019. Thereby, to the clients, we'll be able to deliver computed gross reach numbers per site, ranking of areas by TG density, cost per impression, and down the road, we are looking at that holy grail of any medium measurement, which is net reach. Okay? And obviously, we assume that this is for the first time that this is happening. So what are we fundamentally, am I using the word fundamentally too often? I shall stop. What we are looking at is, in phase one, we are looking at 26 cities and 26,000 sites, that I said. We are looking at measurements across configurations with one small difference. Transit data and transit media is even more complicated. So right now, what we have concentrated upon is billboards, bus queue shelters, malls, pillars, foot overbridges, the works. We will come to the microscopics of transit media measurements in the next phase. What we've done is actually geotagged each site to an accuracy of 6 meters. We have coded each site to differentiate between stacked sites. Now I'm talking about large format media. On bus queue shelters, that's not the problem, but in bus queue shelters, like in Chennai and a lot of other cities, you have a row of bus queue shelters. And therefore, by computing the geotag to 6 meters, we've been able to differentiate one bus queue shelter from the next. The next big step was computing what we call the panel rating point. The panel rating point had to be scientifically done. So the entire team at Laqshya has actually sat down with each site, photographs each site, and we've put down 7 attributes per site to actually calculate the PRP. It's not somebody's make-believe that, hey, this is a good site, isko PRP 80 de dete hain. Ye acha site nahi hai, isko 50% de dete hain. So these are all hardcore numbers. The only thing I understand, unfortunately, is numbers. So I don't understand flexible, approximately numbers kind of thing. So we've stuck to sharp numbers. In phase 2, we will go across to 50 cities and we'll have 100,000 geotag sites to be able to present to the clients. Quickly, how have we calculated data? There are 2 aspects of it. For each site, for a circle of 500 meters, there is a resident population that is living around the site. Okay? How have we gone about it? We've used Census 2011 numbers, and we have piled on more databases to it. Because any one database is never strong enough to look at the database in the current system of things. So 2011, and we've now gone about building it up. So we've looked at education growth patterns, we've got smartphone usage patterns, we've got housing growth patterns, and we're looking at putting in other databases like car sales, like consumer durable sales, and that as we go along, we will add more and more data to be able to more effectively measure the number of people staying within 500-meter radius of each site on the 100,000 slides. This is just me showing off, right? So please stay with me. I'm showing off how we've gone about. The entire team has spent time in figuring out from various sources how we've gone about the accuracy process. Now, if you look at decadal growth patterns, we will have a number which is a decadal growth pattern. Now let me show you the next one. This is decadal, that is 2001 to 2011 was growth on certain parameters, and a lot of databases put the same growth rate to the next decade as well. But in our case, we've actually looked at each city, looked at population growth each year, and then figured out what the actual growth rate patterns are. So that was residential traffic. Then we have transit traffic. Now, transit traffic is a triangulation process. We did the GfK Laqshya study of on-ground counts. We integrated with a lot of digital APIs, including Google Maps, including Zomato, including 99 Acres, Magic Bricks, the works, to figure out what the actual patterns, transit patterns are. And then we are doing a lot of experimentation with telecom brands to be able to put in a third level of measurement, which is from telecom. So this is tower-based, so we'll be able to figure out from each situation how much traffic is actually going. Right now, we have reason to believe that we are 95% accurate. What will we offer the clients? We will be able to offer the highest fit. We'll be able to offer the cost per impression, the repeat factor, and as I said down the road, the holy grail, net traffic. Now this is what any other medium offers. Television offers this, print offers this, we don't offer it, so we will. The system is now capable of delivering, as we said, area of highest TG density. So in a city, which area has the highest TG fit for a brand is based on the client's definition of TG, and we have heat maps to tell the client, this is the heat map for your TG across the city. We have gross reach numbers, and we have the campaign or site reach numbers. We have cost per gross reach number. Now this, again, in my opinion, is something that is now taking this medium into the next level. Because we are looking at, we saw clients saying they want CPC and whatever, now we're looking at cost per 1,000 level of engagement. This is interesting. And we are able to, with the TGI interface from Group M, we are able to also tell the client that you have 100 people in your TG in the city. With a certain site, we will reach X percentage of that TG. with a certain plan, we will reach a Y percentage of TG. When we have tower level statistics, we will be able to just put in a lot more detail into the plan, and that's available in Q2. Now is the next interesting part, which is the red tick downstairs, which is the ongoing consumer feedback channel. I was telling you about how telecom is being integrated. We are doing these programs across the board with our clients to figure out what is the degree of engagement that a site can deliver with the TG that the client wants. So the result at stage 1 that we can offer right now is isolation of the highest fit demographic isolation of highest fit geographical areas based on demographic patterns and touch points. Okay, I don't know if this is making sense because it's not easy to conceptualize. I mean, I didn't understand this about a year ago, and over the last 1 year, we've been able to kind of drill down to the fact that the media assets available in the said areas would be able to deliver a certain number. If we drill down further into site-specific data and look at resident population numbers, traffic patterns, repeat factors, and the site attributes. Stage 4, we are able to therefore generate site-specific OTS numbers. The manifestation on my dashboard, we can start with a budget and say, if I take one more site, another site, it's like a scoreboard. It's like the run rate required to kind of win the match. So we can figure out how many more sites we need to take to figure based on a certain budget and therefore be able to achieve a certain reach. Or if the client is open-minded, and in one of the presentations, if the client is ambitious, we can start with a reach number and say, if you want to reach 50% of the TG in the city, here is what the plan will look like, and it will cost you X number of rupees. So the train can come from the left, the train can come from the right, and therefore we'll be able to arrive at the most correct plan for a client's requirements. Obviously, it's highly iterative. Obviously, we're not replacing human intelligence right now, but down the road, with AI that's built into the system with each plan that's getting created, we would be able to automate the process of planning. So if a planner is able to generate 1 plan a day or 2 plans a day, we would be able to generate a lot more plans, give the client 5 options to look at and say, hey, can I look at it this way or can I look at it that way? And be able to understand what the client really wants and what the client is looking for. I'll spend a little time on transit media. So as I said, what we currently have as far as transit media is concerned is the bus queue shelters across the cities. A lot of work in progress. Trust me, there's a huge team of people that's working on this nonstop. We've already mapped out 3,901 bus queue shelters across 6 cities. In Delhi, we've mapped 1,713. You'll see the numbers here. I will not stress on this. It's significant because I'll tell you what this really implies. In Mumbai, we have 959 bus queue shelters mapped out already. So if I were to pick up any one bus queue shelter, as I can see, we mapped out a bus queue shelter on SV Road in Borivali. I have the number of people living around that bus queue shelter with a 500-meter radius. I have the people who will cross that bus queue shelter on one day. Therefore, I have the 7-day traffic and a 15-day traffic. Because it's geo-mapped, I can exactly figure out what the heat map is, what the travel patterns are for that shelter, and therefore, what is the kind of traffic that I'll be able to address. So then we did an experiment. My colleague Harshal is here with me. We did this experiment last night that we just put all the bus shelters in Bombay together and said, okay, what could it look like? And what are the numbers that look like? And the pie chart that emerges is pretty interesting. Obviously, people on the road are the people who are working, the people who are going for business, and I don't know what that means, but I shall try very quickly. The biggest number of people, intuitively you understand that these numbers are correct because 20 to 24, 25 to 35, and 35 to 45 years of age are the highest number of people who are on the roads passing the bus shelter. These numbers are available across the board, and we can give you more. Similarly, as far as socioeconomic classification is concerned, just anecdotal data, as per MRUC, 5.14% of Indian population is SECA. And it goes from there, and the largest population across the country is SECD and E. So if we look at a metro, obviously it won't be 5% because a metro will have more money and people will have more spending power and therefore more assets on which the modern SEC is based. And therefore in Mumbai, SEC is 11%, B is 10%, C is 11% again, D and E are still the largest. So intuitively, I know all of you know your data, but intuitively, you will understand that this data is pretty accurate. I was talking about cost per thousand, which is in digital terms also a very important number. So if you look at this, again, we've just mapped out the number of people in each socioeconomic classification in Mumbai. You'll see the CPM at 52 for SECA, 63 for B, 53 for C, 16 and 21 for D and E. So obviously the larger the population, the lower the CPM. I'll give you a case study and go down. So another case study, Chennai, we got 608 bus shelters mapped. This is, as I said, the dashboard and what it looks like. We have the numbers mapped out on a per site basis. We know the traffic patterns. I chose this one because it's on a corner of a site, so this pretty much shows us what the traffic pattern is. Similar pie chart to Mumbai in terms of the age group. Similar to Mumbai in terms of SEC? No, it's not. So Chennai has a higher number of SECA people than Mumbai. Higher percentage of SEC people. Mumbai had 11%, Chennai has 17%. Mumbai had 10% B, Chennai has 14%, and so on and so forth. We did the same exercise for Mumbai as we did for Chennai, and you can see the CPMs are approximately similar. Oops, this is what I did. Here, if you compare, the numbers in Chennai are smaller, but the CPMs are approximately similar in that range. So what does this really mean? What we did was we actually looked at large formats versus bus queue shelters, and you will see the difference in the CPMs for each of the two kinds of out-of-home media. Now this is something that I as a client would be understanding in terms of saying, frequency builders, hey, I can use transit media, bus queue shelters in this case, I do not want to use the larger term of transit media. And for maybe impact, I could use a spattering of larger formats to get to a holistic media plan. Okay, and this is where the numbers, you'll see the numbers are significantly different. There's a 40 to 50% difference in the CPM numbers across each shelter. As I said, for CPM in Chennai, CPM for bus shelters is 37, CPM for large formats is 46. So really, I mean, I just wanted to give you a flavor of the kind of measurement system that we've developed. It's highly data-centric. It's looking at currently 5 levels of data integration to be able to give you the numbers. In sum, with the metrics in place, transit media can deliver massive numbers at relatively lower costs. That's what we saw from the charts. The metric of moving transit media, it's hugely complex. I'm sorry, we've been wanting to do this at a much faster pace, but it's so complex. You know this, I don't have to tell you this, but we will be able to crack it sooner than later. As the process of arriving net reach, in the next few months, we will be able to present that to you as well. But really, on a public basis, you are the first people to see our platform. And therefore, what we will be able to do is at each level, OH segment per segment will be able to pitch for its correct share of business across the client's budget. I just want to show you one picture, if that's there. No, it's not there. That's okay. So we did a bit of an exercise because I noticed one term that a couple of clients said, which is geotagging sites. and geofencing sites. So we actually did an exercise for Jeep, one of our large clients, where we have this Asia's largest installation on the Bombay-Pune highway, right? All of us know that. How many have seen that installation? Show of hands. Hopefully everybody. We actually did a geo-fenced exercise. We served SMSs and MMSs to people who've been on that road in the last 72 hours. And we got responses from them. I don't know how many people come here from direct marketing and digital backgrounds, but can I ask you, would anybody want to tell me what is a typical kind of response that you would get to an SMS/MMS campaign? Anybody? Yes? 4 out of 10,000, which is 0.4% or 0.04%. That is the range. 4 out of 10,000 is 0.04%. No, 0.4%, excuse me. So, which is digitally the right number? We, because of A, and I'm just using the words that have been used in the past presentations, relevance and spatial configuration, we got a more than 3% response. Of the 3%, because there was sampling error, which is there in any research program, we got a 60% plus correct response. And most of the incorrect responses were because of what we call research fatigue. Everybody clicked on the first option when the right option was the third option on the MMS. So when the client asks for engagement, here is an example of how we combined out-of-home media, the conventional out-of-home media, with the new out-of-home media, which is mobile, to deliver engagement for the client. Right? And I think this is really the way for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Manas. Well, your floor is once again open for questions, if you have. Yes.
Hi, I'm Madhu from Times OH. Loved your data research and options available. But one question again, like in newspaper and TV also, we have research numbers and exact numbers, but something like an IRS is very restricted to a few number of people. Again, BARC is a very few number. So what is the sample size here available for this type of measurement?
It's a great question, and thank you for asking that question. So I think what's really happening is, if I were to give you a strange answer, I would say our sample size is 100%. Right? Because of the following reasons. A, each site has its own geotag. Right? So the measurement is happening for each site. Right? Unlike BARC is now some 50,000 homes measuring 170 million households. In our case, because each site is mapped, the census is the underlying database for the entire program. Therefore, each site has its own measurement criteria. With telco data, we would be able to look at the numbers based on traffic density, thanks to Google. So what we've done is we've measured each road in front of each site. And based on traffic density data, we're able to compute the number of vehicles on the road at that point of time in front of any site on a database. So from that perspective, because the measurement process is a little different, I would say it's 100% sample size.
That's nice, but one question. Like, I would not like to share my data with the telco also. How do you get the demographics, telco, where am I using it? And am I using it twice? Am I seeing the same shelter twice? Once in Marine Drive, the second time in Kemp's Corner?
Again, great question. At least good to me, because I would love to answer it. So right, as I said, we do not have the net traffic data for you yet, because the telco traffic data is still being measured, right? We are serving millions of stimuli to people at various points in the country, okay? That is the only place we will be able to figure out how many stimuli are being served, because all stimuli are being served on geofence locations. That is the kind of data that telcos will share. Based on that, we are able to figure out what the traffic numbers are. And we are talking about across telcos. So when I know that I've served, because I get the data back, I know that I've served, let's assume 1 million stimuli at one geofence location. So I know that that number has gone out. And then I can just get response back from a certain percentage of that. I know I will not be as lucky as 3% every time, but based on those metrics, I would be able to get the data back at some point of time or the other, which is what's being compiled right now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Karthik from Visual Media Out of Home. I'm sure a lot of OOH guys will hate me for this, but all the data that we have here is how many people might watch this ad, right? It is not how many exactly watch these ads. So there is no eyeball count of these many people viewed your ads. Is that right? But if it was digital OOH, I could have actually told these many people viewed your ads. Is that right?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay. So let me try and answer this to the best of my abilities. All media measurement right now is probability to see, right? Across, especially print, definitely print because I have spent many years in print. Even on television, what the data says is the television was showing this ad at this point of time in 50,000 households. And that is the time, again, intuitively we know that that's the time when you go either for number one or get your chai or get your nashta and whatever else, and then you come back when the ad is over. So even TV, which is currently very, very accurate, claims to be accurate, is probability to see. Digital, the only thing that works to a large extent is the click-through rate. And Facebook today says that they're sure of only about 60% of their click-through data. Correct? So that is really the accuracy that is happening across the board in terms of actual viewing of a certain stimulus. Therefore, I come back to the second part of my answer that when I calculate the number of eyeballs, it is definitely we've used the word OTS, the phrase OTS, right? But the moment I am able to publish the data from my stimulus program that I just spoke about, I will be able to tell us what is the kind of engagement that my media is generating. And there are several extrapolations, statistically viable, that would be able to tell us what the actual viewership data is going to be.
Thank you, Manas. I think we'll come to close the session for now. Thank you so much for your presentation.